Welcome, Divine Hearts, and thank you so much for joining us. This week, we have a very special guest joining us. She is Magdala Ramirez, and Magdala is many things. She is a spiritual teacher, she is an author, she is a medicine woman, and she was born as a medicine woman and comes from a very long lineage of medicine people from the Maya Mexica lineage. And she has come here to Earth at this time to share the ancient wisdom and knowledge of the ancestors, our ancestors from the stars with us. And she does this in many ways. She does this through her books. She has written many, many books, and one we will speak in depth about today. And she also holds seminars and ceremonies and journeys and has done this all over the world for many, many years. So it's a great privilege and honor to be able to connect and join with Magdala today. Thank you so much for joining us, Magdala.
Thank you, Louise. Thank you so much. I feel very happy to be with everybody today. It's just an honor. Tell me, what's going on everywhere in the world?
Well, let's start with the beginning for you, because for you to be born a medicine woman and to be recognized as this within your community, and you began on your path very early, very young. You were studying the Maya symbols, and you had the support of your community. The elders were there to support you in your growth, because everybody knew each other's purposes. Because as you speak in one of your books, you speak about everybody having a unique vibration, a unique frequency when we come in. So your lineage remembers this and honors this. But for many of us, we are born into different families where we experience different things and come back to that remembrance maybe later in our lives. So I wanted to ask you about that experience for you, having that support, in a sense, that recognition early on of who you are and why you came here, and those early years maybe of experiencing, learning about the Maya symbols, what they mean.
Well, what can I tell you? I'm truly just a messenger in this. I did have all these powerful experiences since I born. I remember since I was 1 year and a half. And well, when you mention the whole community, it is true that my abuelas, my grandmothers, they were amazing. They were very, very supporting of me. I have two amazing grandmothers that they were truly beautiful. Yet the teachings are not precisely something that it will adjust to the status quo of everybody. It is very much moving, all kinds of energies that it has been stuck there for a very, very long time. Yes, I came with a purpose, and very, very sensitive little girl all the time. I meet a great mother at a very, very early age, and she taught me so many, many things. Yes, my trips to the pyramids and the anthropology museum and all these things, it was fascinating for me, because then I can tap and be with the elders. But it was always something very, very amazing, always unfolding, always learning. Yet, yes, everyone, it has their own ways of perception of reality. And these teachings that I needed to come forward, well, it's very much about the consummation of everything. I find out at a very early age that these teachings has been everywhere in the world. And that truly fascinated me, because there is only one single knowledge. a knowledge that has been, I mean, it doesn't matter what is the symbols, what is going on everywhere. It is beautiful to see that they are talking about the same teachings everywhere. All religions and traditions come from the same point in the very, very beginning. My purpose in here is about bringing the union of polarities, the understanding of your male and female. And for such a long time, human being has been learning only the masculine way because it has been very patriarchal for many, many, many generations. The part that it was hidden, the feminine ways, that's the one that we do need to bring it forward, because this new world, the sixth sun, it's about balance. It's not matriarchal, it's not patriarchal, but it is about balance. And you understand that balance within the self. Well, we do need to open. What is this thing that we're talking when we're talking about the feminine? And really, we're not talking about masculine, men and woman. No, we're talking about that place within yourself where the two hemispheres of your brain are connected into one. And what is it? And how do this work? And how the ancestors perpetuate those teachings for a long, long time. My ancestors talk about until the 17th dimension in all the codices. And they always said, and there is, of course, much more, that is your job. Yet, people, it is a multidimensional being, and it has always been multidimensional. But in order to understand and stabilize a different vibration about this, you do need to understand what is that realm of the feminine and what is that realm of the masculine, and how both energies resides within every single human being. And really, again, I'm not talking about sexual preferences. I'm talking about an energy and a spiral that it is counterclockwise, the feminine, and clockwise, the masculine, and how everything, it is so completely interrelated. How it is that beautiful divine feminine, that it is truly holding hands with that beautiful divine masculine, and all is happening within the self. And the ancestors, they didn't have these issues and these situations. They didn't thought about the feminine in that way. They do call it the feminine way because it wasn't the hidden. It is what nowadays science called the quantum physics. You see, it's a physics that you don't see, that you don't measure in the same way. The same thing, it happens with that feminine aspect of yourself, that place where there is so many of your skills that you need to remember, and that many people everywhere in the world are remembering already. Human being, it is beautiful and so powerful, and have a little bit of amnesia for a long, long time. Yet it is happening right now, that remembrance, my sister, of how everything, it is just right there in one way or the other. So how do I grow up? I grew up fighting and being a warrior and understanding myself and who I am and what is the thing that I needed to be done in this. It was beautiful in many ways, but very hard in many others. Why? Because when you stand up in your truth and you say it, everything, well, you make react to everything. Truth, it's a very powerful thing, and it's true, you know. It make you free, but it make you uncomfortable. We have this old saying in Mexico. And when you plant it and you say it and you mention and you really put it together about how it works, it's a very different story. Yeah, it has been hard. Then coming into United States, It was a very different story. You see, Mexico, everyone is Mexica, Maya Mexica. Ceremonies, everything. It is just one single tribe. And I needed to come to United States because these teachings belongs to everyone. And here there is so many people from everywhere in the world. And it needed to be spoken. So I needed to learn English. My English can be funky because of it. I needed to see a very different perspective. I needed to tap into where this person comes from and see that root and understand the same teaching based on their root, in their way of thinking. And still I'm translating from my original language, yet there is this force and this very beautiful that it is beyond the languages. It's just that vibration. You see, the Great Mother talks to you as a vibration, and it is you, the one who's translated in your brain in a way that you can understand it. Yet a lot of things are missing in the translation, isn't it? Yet when you learn how to understand that vibration as it is, it's a very different story. Not making any sense.
Oh, absolutely. And there's so many beautiful truths in everything that you were sharing there. I love how it's also beautifully designed, in a sense, your path. You began to remember to study from a really young age, to be ready for these times, to be ready to share. And so one of the books that we are going to be diving into today is the book, The Code 144, The Restoration of the Original Human Being. And I'll be sharing the details of this book underneath as well. So the code 144, especially for me, I've been seeing it everywhere for on and off for many, many years. Yeah. And the way that you open up this understanding for us to come to layers and layers of deeper understanding about what this means is so beautiful and profound. And you bring in you bring in the symbols, explanations so that we can understand. And you're showing us that it's very real, the transformation that is occurring on the planet and for many of us within us. And so this balance that you speak of, coming into balance, the masculine and the feminine, that's being part of this whole balancing and harmonizing that we are going through now, to be ready to enter this golden era that you mentioned in the book, this time of the sixth sun. And so take us a little deeper into the code 144, and you can lead us in whichever way you wish that feels aligned for you to begin with.
I love that book.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Well, I guess I need to start by telling the people, you do have an original vibration. You're born with an original vibration. And that original vibration, it contains absolutely everything that you need. If the thing was that when you were growing up, somebody came and told you, you're supposed to be like somebody else. And you're supposed to do this and not that. You don't know, you cannot trust yourself. You're an imperfect being. And you have all these situations that it was spoken to that beautiful human being. And that beautiful human being decided to exchange some of their tones and began to lose themselves in many ways. But nothing is truly lost. It is already there. You must remember that a vibration All it is interconnected by the essence. That essence contains all the vibrations of absolutely everything and everyone. All the animals and the plants and the trees and everyone. Also, it is timeless. You're beyond time. You have always been beyond time. It contains all the vibrations for the star beings because we come from the stars too. We have all these understandings of what it is, that beautiful vibration of yours. And understanding what happened to the human being. Sometimes I think that it was a tragedy, and I'm not being dramatic. It was a tragedy when they told you that you're supposed to be looking for love, that you were not going to be accepted if people knows who you are, if you're being yourself, that you needed to accommodate so many things just to receive grumbles of love here and there, and you got hurt. Nobody told you that you are love, that you are in a journey of love. You are in this realm because of the love that you are. And you're having experiences of love all the time, good ones and bad ones. And you're learning about beautiful love and not too beautiful love and messy love and creepy love. And oh my gosh, until you begin to comprehend that the daughter of the Great Mother, the sons of the Great Mother, they're not beggars of love. You have always been love. So I do find it like a tragedy because, oh my gosh, right now you do need to trust yourself. And that trusting was removed from you at a very early age. So here it is, what it is very important for the new world. You do need to trust yourself because the beauty that you are as a human being, because the powerful being that you have always been, because you don't need to go and fight for freedom, but realize the freedom that it has always been there. But understanding how to use your powers for the highest good of everyone, because you do live in a world of oneness. How it is that balance within yourself? How does this work? And the 144 speak about that, the original code of the human being. That DNA, it is truly beautiful. It was the perfect creation of Father, Mother, God. Well, I want to say it perfect creation, because there are many other creations too. But that beautiful DNA of yours contains absolutely everything. People has been studying the DNA for a long time, scientists, and they have no idea. A lot of this part of the DNA, they say, well, that's junk. Well, Father, Mother, God does not make junk. That place inside of you, it is able to recognize who you are and where and how you are living, and understanding those beautiful experiences of love. You're not your experience. You have never been your experience, but what you learn from it. What you learn from it truly, and how it is that perception of reality. I mean, everybody knows nowadays the hologram where you're living. And we call it the Tecaslipoca in our tribe. And that is a very ancient knowledge and understanding about that hologram. And that hologram is very much the dream that you are right now. It is the time to wake up. And what does this mean? That you are able to master the hologram. You're able to understand that mastery, that it is taking place. And that information, it is within you. It is right there, deep inside of you. You change a perception. Everything, single thing that you are experiencing, it is just a perception of reality, because your path is so absolutely unique that nobody can walk but you. Yet we all are dancing together in one way or the other. We all cannot help it but share who we are, because that's the essence of love. It is always a vibration. People think about love, something that it is in the outside. You think about your loved ones, because that's what you learn about love at a very early age. Yet when you see that love as that purity of energy of what it is, the spaces between, that deep silence where everything is being created. The deep silence of yours, when you are able to listen to the most beautiful and sublime teachings that it is coming. You are the source. You are the great mother, the great father. And we need to call her the great mother right now, because really is that eternal feminine. But how does people can relate with that eternal feminine? And really, God is not male or female. Is this very beautiful energy. Yet in the system that it has been so completely patriarchal, they very much deny all that part of yourself, all that place in yourself. That is where the balance, we need to bring it forward. They have an idea of a male God that, oh my gosh, there is so many distortions about that, isn't it?
Yes.
The Divine Father, it's very much that divine order in everything. The planets, they don't crash, they have an orbit. The tree have a cycle. The beautiful flower have a cycle. You have the orchestra of the multiverse, and you're part of it, and nothing crashes. It is that beautiful divine order constantly. And in order to understand that, it is that perfect harmony within your own self. And that perfect harmony, it is you. And yeah, there is so much chaos and everywhere. And chaos inside, we were just talking about that. Right now it's intense. Why? Because the mother is talking to everyone. And that's a good thing. But through that talking to everyone, it is showing the work. Where is the things that it needs to go? And the struggle of the people being able to go. And the connection that people have within each other. How do you know me? And how do I know you? You are in Singapore. And here I am. And yet spaces doesn't really exist. Everything, it is so absolutely interconnected. They are a beautiful, right now I'm working in this new book about the tree of life that I love it. We work so much in Priestess with that book, because you're talking about every branch. It is that very much a perception of that reality. It is a timeline. Yet you have different timelines that they are all happening at the same time. And you do have, in some way, sharing information of all these timelines, all these versions of yourself. And you are sharing information. And it has to happen in this time and space, because what we are doing in here, in this plane of existence, is accelerating the process. We do need to accelerate the process in order for the people to get it. So it is open those experiences, and that can be a little bit confusing. And It's creating a little bit of chaos everywhere. Yet when we learn to dance with it and understand that tree of life and how everything, it is so absolutely connected to the source that you are, mi hermana, the source that I am, the source that absolutely the whole creation is part of it, and how all it is connected into one. You know, that tree of life, that it is really showing a very different story about this. And yet, yeah, we still need to have a lot of healings, isn't it? Mm. And a lot of cleaning up. We cannot deny what happened. And it is true, and it is beautiful. But we do need to understand that experiences doesn't define us. That it is okay what I learned from it. So I don't need to repeat the lesson. How do I pushing the button in that Tecaslipoca, in that hologram, to create my next lesson? You know, in that way, what you're doing is just splitting that tree of life more and more. And yet, how it is, all these parts of you and even versions of yourself. And some of these versions are when you were very little. And yet, you can go there and bring it forward, whatever you need to do about this. Just in the same way that you think future, you're very much happening all at the same time. I know that it sounds trippy, but it is not trippy when you are able to just dance with it. Deep inside of you, you do understand that there is no time. Time is an invention. It's just that it has never been time. You know, even my ancestors, they were not measuring time. They were measuring consciousness. And that created a different story, isn't it?
That's so
So yes, that book, it's very beautiful because it reminds you that you do have that original vibration. You do can see yourself in that way. There is a lot of things that it needs to go, letting go, and maybe forgive, but it will get into a point that forgiveness, it will be so natural that you're not even going to remember that part within your own self, that it is able to recognize that the transition that it is happening right now to the sixth sun, it is happening within your own self. It's not something that happens in the outside. No, it is happening within you. And yeah, you do need to see these forces. Not making any sense.
Oh, absolutely. And so many things there. When you're speaking about us as frequency, and we are, I love the word that you use so much in your book, involution. That was a new word for me. Evolution, yes, but involution was something deeper inside occurring.
Yeah.
So it was bringing it in. And so many things there, for example, me coming across you and your book now, I didn't see you before because my frequency wasn't there yet to be able to see you and the work that you were doing. But now I'm able to see, I'm ready in a sense to start to work in those frequencies. Also, my son has never been able to learn how to tell the time. It doesn't make any sense to him, no matter how many ways. I understand now, and I giggle, and I don't worry about it. You know, because he doesn't need to understand that. It has no meaning to him, and he knows it's ridiculous. So yeah. let's speak about, because it's us organically too, and this is what I love how you speak about this. It's happening organically within all of us. So we are all each drawn to the things that we are drawn to keep us involving from inside and coming to these deeper heart-based frequencies so that we become these love beings again, returning to this frequency. And what this activates, the light body within us, this light body technology that we are. And so this is when we begin to have these trippy experiences, things that we can't quite understand, when we seem to be walking in daydreams and we can't sort of see a difference possibly between the night dreams and the daydreams, because things start to merge and we get to see more of this hologram that you're speaking of. And it's us coming more into this inner power that we are the ones who are creating all of it. So speak a bit more about the light body in a sense, and the power that returns to us, what we regain and restore in ourselves when we start to activate from here.
Well, I want to talk first about the evolution and the involution, because people need to comprehend this in a very different manner. You see, the masculine way, you need to see the things from the outside to click in the inside. Deduction mind. Everything has been that way for a long, long, long time. Only deduction mind. You go to school, it's only deduction mind. And that's what you begin to call it evolution. That's what you think about it in that level. And it is, in some way, it has to do with the clockwise spiral and how it works. But that's the masculine way. So really for the men, now I'm talking about the men, they do need to see something in the outside to click in the inside. Even meditation, it was put it in that way. You silence your outside to really touch that inner side. But what it was missing is the other side. The part of the feminine, it's from that inside, from that incredible wisdom that you do have, how do you bring it into the outside? It's a very different story, you know, you have the deduction mind, you know, we can call it the induction mind, the part that it goes from that inside, being able to bring it forward. And that's the struggle for a long, long time. Right now, even for the feminine, trying to figure it out, it's such an abstract world inside of the self. But in some way, you do need to organize it in some way that it will make sense to you and being able to bring it forward. And that is the part of the involution, because really, you have never really left, Father, Mother, God. You have never really left the source that you are. It's an illusion. So that part of the involution is very much about understanding truly deeply inside of yourself that you are the great mother, that you are the great father, that you are the source. And from that abstract world, that inner world that only you have access, being able to bring it forward and bring it in that way. And yet, yes, the human being is a light being by nature. Your physical body, it is just that, an expression of it. But your true body, it is a body of light. And it has absolutely all the properties of light. You can even see yourself in the mirror, and if you look very closely, you will see all this light. Look outside. You live in a world of light. Everything, it is so absolutely full of light. Then what happened to the human being that they thought that the physical body was the only body that they had? That was it. Not understanding that you have always been alive. That you needed some lessons. That's why you are in this realm. But it is just that. And those lessons is lessons of love. But you can't die. You are an eternal being. What it dies is the ego, if it needs to go. But that place within yourself, it is always that bonded with the one that created you. You know, this week it has been very intense about it. And it has been very prevalent, that message. There is not one realm without God. Means that in every person, in every part of life, in every creature, in every single thing that you're doing, even when you're doing the dishes and you're making your laundry, you still have that. It doesn't matter what it is. You still need to understand that you have always been that light. Understanding how it works, that balance within you as a woman. You can see what is that male side of yours. And that has to do with that personality. And it's a cultural thing too. That's when everything gets so tricky. Because every single thing that you learn in the system, that you went through all this system, you know, and how it is right now, this part of you, that it is really leading the way to the new world. And that it is your own feminine, which is very bonded with the one that created you. So bringing this beautiful masculine that you are to about it is really understanding how to hold your truth, how to stand up in your truth, how you are able to bring it from that inside to bring it in the outside. You know, the ancestors, Lois, mi hermana, talk about the two hearts. And one heart that contains all the pain and situations that you have in your life. Even the fear of love, the same thing that it liberates you, the same thing that you come to do in this planet. And all these things that happens to you, but behind that heart, there is another heart. And this heart contains absolutely everything that you need. You have access to the library of the multiverse. You have access to absolutely anything that you need to know. You just ask. And immediately it takes you into that place. And you do it in that world within your own self. And that personality is adjusting now to that heart of yours, who is actually leading the way to the sixth sun. The whole planet is going back into her original vibration. That's why you see so many changes in this very beautiful planet, because she needs to go back to her original vibration. And you need to dance with her. And of course, it can be chaotic at times, but when you tap into that beautiful heart about it, everything, it makes sense because you're beyond that time. You're beyond all the situations. You understand that culture needs to honor and respect everybody's culture and traditions. Needs to comprehend that at one point, everything, it is just one big connection into one. And that is going to bring that situation. You know what happened too in this week? And I was thinking about it. There was this incredible prophecy that it talks about the book of love that it was hidden for a long, long time. And they say one day people are going to encounter this and there will be no more jealousy, no more envy, no more wars because of that book. And when I think about that book, oh my gosh, we have been reading that book forever. Because human being is a peaceful being by nature. You don't need to, you cannot even impose peace in you or impose peace in everybody. You can never impose harmony. It's something that it really comes as a revelation and it comes from within. And that personalities, it needs to adjust to that beautiful heart who's leading the way. It is that feminine side of yours, the one that it is enlightening, your masculine side, in order to understand that balance. Not making any sense.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. And you're, there's so many things there that you're reminding me of. There's so many aha moments when I was reading your book, and the way that you explain and the way that you bring symbols to life in new ways for me. And one of those symbols is the spiral. And for me, being brought up in Wales, the spiral was very prominent. I was speaking to you before about these ancient stones that can be found in places with these spirals, and they can be found in Ireland, in Scotland, in all the Celtic
everywhere.
nations, and in France,
Everywhere.
So when you speak in your book about what you say, you're speaking about the feminine, the divine feminine frequency, and you're explaining this vibration really eloquently in many ways to open us up. And you use the word inspire so that we can see the spiral as we feel inspired. And this energy, it just woke something new in me to understand it in a new way again, to see it as a movement of energy happening inside. And also how that's activating the divine masculine too, and working in unison in that way. But to speak a little bit more about, because I love that the ancestors have left these signals, these signs, these star maps for us to find and to remember, and that you are sharing these wisdoms with us so that we can come to remember in new ways from inside.
Well, I love the spirals. And yes, it is a teaching that it has been everywhere in the world, every tribe, and wherever you go. It is something that it is so beautiful. How can I explain to you? I know how. You see, we have also this other symbol, Olin, that when we it means movement. Cuatro movimiento, 4 movement. Also, it teach you how do you understand that. One of the ancient ways too of explaining, and I think let's go for this because it's much more easy to comprehend. You see, you go in life that, by the way, you are life, and we talk about this, but you're repeating the same patterns over and over again. And here we go again, and you recognize the energy. And even if it is not comfortable, you still feel you want it, that. Not making any sense? Because that's what you know. So you repeat it and repeat it. There is this ancient knowledge too, the Enneagram, that explains very much how the spiral works within yourself. And everything has a tone. And the 4th, that's when you have a chance to move it into a spiral. For example, you starting a new business and it's going up, but it gets into a point that is going down. It's rendimientos decrecientes. I have no idea how to say that in English, but it is a point that you do need to create something different in order to keep on growing, in order to make it bigger. Even if it is a business, even if it is your vitamins, if you take the same vitamin, it gets into a point that it is not good anymore. You need to change it. You need to move it. And everything goes in four. Do, re, mi, fa, the fa, the next place. That when you miss that point within you, what you're going to do is just going to keep on creating that circle. You will have another opportunity in the other side. But if you miss it, you're just going in circles. Whatever it was good, well, now it's bad. Whatever it was bad, just wait a minute, it's going to be good. So what is it of that spiral that it gives you the opportunity that in time and space, in that only in that four movement, you are able to create something different. And you can see it in your regular life. Usually people follow a routine. What will happen if you don't? What about if you change the story that you tell to yourself constantly and change a perception of reality and stop telling the same story and just create something different perspective of reality? Immediately you're creating that spiral. A new set of possibilities are going to be in your table just by that little movement. It's a spiral. Everything is part of it. It's never the same. Never the same. And understanding that it is not a matter of time, but it is a matter of consciousness. Everything makes sense because you are able to comprehend how the whole universe is being created and how you are being, how it is that signature of the Great Mother. You see the Nautilus, you see, oh my gosh, so many of all nature is encoded the same signature, and yours too. Now, can you perpetuate that? That was the original human being, being able to understand that it's not about the time. Today is Monday, we do this. It is something different at all times because you are evolving, because you're connecting at the same time and you're going deeper. Everything, and you change just that little change, everything, it will be a very different possibilities. Possibilities that it is very much going into the next branch of your tree of life, your next truth available, possible. And you're going to have a big set of possibilities in your table again. And it's going to be different possibilities. And there are possibilities because in a way you already live it. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a possibility. You already live it, you're just making it official. And when you're making it official, you understand how it works, that spiral. But for that one, you do need to see how it will work. It is always a tone. It is always a vibration that it works that way. And it is part of the whole multiverse. You know, I have this, I love this symbol. It's the Xpapalotli symbol. You see, one is virtual, one is real. And it shifts constantly. And you are in the very, very middle. When you understand that the passing through the very, very middle, you're able to comprehend how that spiral is working. You have your virtual reality and your other reality. And they are both a mirror, one to another, constantly. And you bring things from one reality to your dream reality. And from that dream, you do bring things to the other reality, constantly. That place of that very, very center, that you're able to comprehend how that spiral works. And if you do the same thing over and over and over again, it's just going in circles. It's like watching a movie over and over again, thinking that it's going to change the next time, and it is not. It's always that place of that perception of reality. What do you feel, Mirman?
Oh, I feel that's so beautiful. So beautiful the way that you're encompassing all of that in that movement, the spiral. And yes, I can understand how it unfolds for all of us. And that's when we take actions, it's often like you were saying, it's just that making it final so that we can, it's already, the choice has already been made in a sense. But you're just taking that action to move on to open something else up and something else and something else. So before we close, take us to, because you speak about so many wonderful symbols in this book. And one of them, which feels really beautiful to close with, is our connection, our star nation connection, our connection as star seeds coming from the stars, the 555, and what this means to you and your lineage, and how you explain this.
Well, we come from the stars. We are always in perfect communication with our brothers and sisters from the stars. And in my culture, it is very, very open. I know that, like here in the United States, everybody freak out about it, but I don't understand why. It's something that we know at very early age, and our codices, it talks about all this that we are doing in the ancestors from the start. I want to say something very important. You have all the assistance that you need. And the assistance is coming from within. Yeah, that it helps you to raise that consciousness and understand what is it in this time and space that you need to remember. Because you're not learning anything, you're remembering. But you also have the assistance from the stars, from the Pleiadians, from many other beings, that they are there to assist human beings because they were part of the creation of who we are. And people likes to see it as a laboratory. I see it as very much everything, that it is just part of you. You are those ancestors too. That it is everything. It is really assistance in this time, human being. The Great Mother, we find this very beautiful writing about that in this time and space, the Great Mother is talking to everyone in the world, especially women. In order to bring that balance, it was important. It is important. And you have the assistance of, oh my gosh, we are assisting one to another. You're assisting me, I'm assisting you. Always the mother said, look all the time where it comes from, mijita. Don't put attention how far it will go. I mean, we're doing this talk, and I feel you that I know you forever because I can feel you within myself. And when I see that, how everything, it is assisting everything in this time and space. I mean, the trees, the plants, the flowers, the animals, everyone is assisting you. This is the time when human being, it is able to remember and accept that assistance and understand that that assistance is very powerful and beautiful at the same time that you are assisting. Our ancestors from the stars has always been in here. We are here. I went to this pyramid. I laughed forever. And I said, oiga, señor, sir, excuse me. At what time the star people come? And he goes, what time is it right now? It's 5:30. Yeah, 5:30. And he looked at me. And I said, oh, yeah. I mean, we have cities on top of it, many places everywhere in the world. Why? Because, yeah, it was a time that it is being repeated right now. People who's ready, stay in the fifth and beyond if you can. And people who stay in those realms, they are big, big cities. They are cities, big cities in many places everywhere in the world. And I can see how it's related with really many places. I mean, you have, we call it the world of the enchanted flower. And I have met many people that they are assisting, that they come from those realms. It's a multidimensional being. They are, it's not time travel by itself, but it is you assisting you. Just like that little girl needs some assistance right now from you. You are assisting that part. The same thing it is happening. I know that this conversation is big conversation that we can have in another time because we have already almost an hour, huh? Yeah, but I know that people needs to know this. I'm working on it. Maybe we can have another one and talk about this one.
Oh, that would be wonderful. Magdala, thank you so, so much. It's been such an honor and a pleasure to be able to connect with you and to share you here. So thank you so much from my heart. It's been beautiful.
Oh, Tlatzocomate, Tlatzocomate, Tlatzocomate. I am you, mi hermana.